Fans, what is up, Childerberg? How we doing? Fuck yeah, this is chili number 4 for you, right?
No, chili 3.
You've only done 3?
3 Childerbergs.
You didn't make it to the first one either.
No, not the
so then
first
that
or
one doesn't
second.
count.
No.
Doesn't count.
No, this is the 3rd one, technically.
There.
Yeah.
No, who just booed us to start the show? Get the fuck out of here. I officially kick you out of Childa.
I thrive off of it.
I like the new campsite. I think that this is a better vibe. What do you think?
I think it's a better site. I think everybody's more condensed. Everybody was behaving very well. You can give yourself some round of applause for that. Besides the part where, and I don't know where they are, but besides the part where they were waterboarding one another, everybody was.
Did that happen? I missed the waterboarding?
Yes. And you know what I did? I went up to every individual person.
Did anyone admit to being a fed?
No. I went up to every
Because you can get
individual...
false confessions out of people waterboarding.
I don't think so.
That was our entire terror policy.
I don't believe it.
I think it was.
Let me explain to you why.
Okay, because you're a Ron DeSantis fan, so you're pro waterboarding.
Right there. I went up to every individual person who got waterboarded and I asked them, was it torture? They all said no.
I don't think they were properly waterboarded.
That's what everybody says, but then that's not the part that's torture. It would be the beating your legs and the yelling at you and the
From what
the
I
other
understand
stuff.
of waterboarding is it simulates a feeling of drowning and death, and it's highly unpleasant. And if it's done properly... Fair enough. I made 2 strategic blunders last night. So the first is I was rolling in from Austin around midnight.
Okay.
And usually my Childa experience has been a little bit limited, but I go hard for the hours I'm here but this I got the whole weekend. So last night I showed up at midnight and I took some edibles in the car.
Nice.
I got here, and by the way, I'm a lightweight with weed, but I was like peeking right when we got here and everyone was asleep. Like,
yes,
it was a dead Childerberg last night. You guys behaved too much.
It was great, dude.
I guess you pooped yourself out waterboarding each other in the afternoon.
I at about 11:30, I popped 2 or 3 melatonin pills, and I went over to my campsite and I fell asleep. And within 20 minutes, I was up in a dream at Childerberg, still drinking. I had more fun in my dream.
Was it a lucid dream?
Yes.
Okay, and once you're in a lucid dream, like, what was your thing? Like, okay, I'm dreaming at Childa, now I have to make this happen.
I was just drinking beers.
That's it? You know, you could actually do that here. You don't have to...
I was asleep, though.
Right.
So I was recovered by the morning, no hangover.
Drinking beers in your sleep. That's pretty great.
Yes.
Strategic error number 2 was we went to our Airbnb at 1 in the morning. I'm high on edibles, and we couldn't tell if we were at the right house. Which is not a good feeling for an Airbnb.
No, not at all.
Especially in Texas.
Yes.
Yeah. What the fuck you doing shining that flashlight on my lawn? Like,
Did you get yelled at?
No, we were at the right place in the end. But in my head, we were about to get shot.
One time I went to I got stranded in Dallas.
Right.
And I was in Dallas, bumming around, and I went into a bar with a backpack on, and they screamed at me. They're like, you can't bring that thing in here. They thought I had guns in it.
But you didn't?
No.
Well, why were you in Texas without guns in your backpack? That was your fault.
That's true.
Yeah, you were doing Texas wrong.
Yeah, I'm the retard.
Yeah, those guys were right.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so first topic I wanted to get into, this came across my Twitter feed yesterday, but Stormy Daniels claims her horse was attacked by Donald Trump supporters, which means there's a Donald Trump supporter going, wait, that wasn't Stormy? You know, someone's out there today like, fuck, we got to go back. And then the other quote, this was from a different article, was Stormy Daniels was saying, I regret coming forward because he still might get away with it.
What does that mean?
I don't know either.
The horse is going to get away with it?
No. This was Stormy Daniels regrets coming forward about the affair with Donald Trump.
Because he's going to get away with it.
Because he's going to get away with it.
What did he tell us? I could shoot a guy in the middle of New York City and get away with it. He was right.
But in this case, it wasn't a crime. He paid $130,000 for a hooker to give him, or, you know, a high-end porn star to give him a blowjob.
Yes.
What did she feel like? What's the justice that she thinks needs to be? And I know she's a horse, so it's like, what am I? How can I hold her accountable?
She's writing a book. That's it.
No, Gene Carroll was the one writing a book. Stormy Daniels doesn't know how to read or write.
Right? That's fair. She is probably getting a lot of money from writing the book, though.
What, Stormy Daniels?
Yeah.
She might be.
Name is on it.
What was so funny on the last go-around with the Stormy Daniels thing was she actually ended up owing Donald Trump money from that whole to-do with, who was the handsome bald guy? Avenatti? Remember? Yeah, there you go. Avenatti?
Yes.
Stormy Daniels ended up owing Donald Trump money over that whole thing.
I love
like
that.
$250,000 in legal fees. All right.
So we'll wave this flag around for that.
Next article I wanted to bring up, so this was in the New York Post. Bud Light truck drivers have been flipped the bird, called homophobic slurs in wake of Dylan Mulvaney fiasco.
Homophobic?
That is so funny. that you're a fucking truck driver from down
and now
south,
you gotta deal with,
and you just happen to drive Bud Light, and that might as well be a "I love queers" flag on the side of your truck. And now you're on the highway, and everyone's yelling at you. This guy fucking is distributing gay juice all across the country.
Yep.
And you're like, I'm just a fucking truck driver.
Just driving your truck, yeah.
Yeah.
Miller Lite's on board. You know that.
What, with gay stuff?
Yes.
What do they?
Ford.
Right.
Is
yeah,
on
that's
board.
that's
You saw
crazy.
that one?
Yes.
Yes. What else?
And like, how aggressive a truck Target? Well,
Target's
that was
on board.
they were putting out the Tuckers, but of all like the Ford one, the Ford Raptor.
Yeah, dude.
That one makes no sense.
The Ass Raptor 2000.
Do you ever think there's been a group of 5 gay guys that wanted to be inside of a Raptor?
That's what we were saying
Yeah.
on the show we went. Do you think there's any gay guys that want to be described as Ford tough? No. There's one. Maybe the Bears, but I don't know what Bears drive. We got any Bears in the audience?
Pete?
That was a deafening silence. No Bears in the audience.
So I'm looking at the brands that are going woke, and to me it's almost like the first time you smoked weed in high school and you had a joint and you're in a circle and you make sure everyone smokes the joint. I feel like that's the way brands are going woke.
Yes.
Where they're all like, all right, fine, we'll hire Dylan. You got to do your. It's like there's some marketing company in New York City that's cleaning up off of this.
Yes.
It's probably called Gay Commercials Inc.
Yes. Yes, right
yeah.
there.
The biggest queers in the business.
I'm really looking forward to what the next brand is going to be and how they're going to do it big.
Ooh, we should take odds right now.
Yes.
Who wants to make the market? Walmart? Taco
Good luck
Bell?
with Walmart.
Taco Bell can be like, we know how to clean out your asshole.
Yeah.
If you got a prep, come try our new 14 Alupas or whatever.
The new bottom menu.
Yeah, the new bottom menu. What, didn't someone try that at one point? That was a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a probiotic like yogurt commercial for
Oikos.
Oh, it was Postmates. Yeah, that was a real thing that they said they had like you went to Postmates and you could pick from bottom friendly foods. Don't pretend like you didn't follow their guidance.
That's right. Yeah.
He's the one guy.
Those things
He's like, what? That was a thing?
Clear soups, really? Which ones?
What does that even mean, being bottom friendly? I don't even know what they're talking about. Bunk beds?
Campbell's could be a good one.
Okay.
Walmart's a tough sell, dude, because Walmart is one of those Bud Light type companies where if they go too far, the whole audience is out of the buildings.
Why? Where are all those Walmart people going?
Whole Foods.
What, you think the Walmart people are going to go shop at Whole? You're saying Whole Foods would be the next one.
More likely than Walmart, because Walmart's crowd will abandon Walmart.
Right. Whole Foods won't lose any customers over
No,
it,
they'll gain customers, for sure.
Yeah. Everything there's bottom friendly to eat. The entire supermarket.
Yes.
Yeah. Do they have Whole Foods out here? Yeah. You got hot bitches.
Dude, you hear that audience reaction to Whole Foods?
Yeah, why are you guys so anti-Whole Foods?
What was that about?
Oh, really?
Okay.
I like a Whole Foods buffet. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, it's the only place you can get Indian food in Miami.
Oh, I still wouldn't eat it, though.
Oh, dude.
That seems like
it's the only spot.
Yeah? How often will you go to Whole Foods for Indian food?
Twice ever.
Oh, okay.
2 times ever in my year and a half of living in Miami have I gone to get Indian food.
Okay.
Yes, and it's spectacular at Whole Foods.
All right, now I got a question for you, and I think Pete's probably going to have some insight on this. So why don't we bring Mr. Pete to join us in the middle seat? We're going to have to come on, round of applause for Mr. Pete. We are going to have to pass the mic a little bit. We do the best that we can for being out in the jungle. All right. So I look at all this woke stuff, and you look at the actual backlash, which to me is a huge win. Like, up until now, we've been getting bullied around on the woke stuff, and there was no retribution. I feel like the Bud Light thing is the first time where people didn't realize, but they're like, wait a second. I'm the customer for Bud Light. Why is Bud Light preaching to me and challenging my values? And they actually I don't think they're smart enough to know, there's ESG scores and we're dealing with a new level of communism in government. But they were just insightful enough to go, nah, don't fuck with my beer. What are you doing? And so there's actual pushback, which I find is promising. So here's my question for you. Do you think we're looking at the wheel finally turning where there's such a loss of profits in these corporations trying to pick sides and, kind of just be, to me, it's all just socialism. There's more money in playing ball with government, and now, Wall Street and BlackRock, that all the corporations are trying to play ball because that's where the money is. But I'm looking at the atmosphere now that this is the first time that there's pushback and they're losing a lot of money. So I'm curious if you think that we're going to actually see like a change in direction here, or like Corona, just more of a double down and more censorship where they realize that they actually don't have enough control over things, that this is costing people money.
Well, it's funny because the first thing that I was offered when I got here yesterday was a Corona.
Okay.
And it was like, okay, well, I know who owns Corona. It's the same company. As long as BlackRock is basically the Federal Reserve now, these companies can stay in business for a long time. Sure, they can get a bad reputation, and I don't think, the gay community or the trans community is going to be flocking to Bud Light because, Bud Light is... I live in a college town.
Right.
That's pretty much the only thing that keeps Bud Light alive is, kids who can't afford anything else drinking piss. But as long as Larry Fink controls the money printer, I think these companies can keep on going on forever, even with bad reputations. And remember, this is a 5-minute friggin' media cycle. There'll be something new in a couple weeks, and people forget about it. And they'll be on to the new outrage.
Well, I guess it also becomes harder to protest every brand. You know what I mean? So it's like, as every single brand that you wouldn't expect to put some fucking gay commercial right in your face to say, hey, we're playing ball with the woke agenda, it does get tougher where you're almost like lose track of, wait, what bands am I protesting? Like it's almost like the way I had to keep kosher as a kid and you realize you couldn't eat anything. Let me tell you, walking around a city realizing that there's no stores that you're allowed in, it's not a good feeling.
Well, HEB, I went to HEB today. We went to HEB yesterday.
Double HEB day.
HEB. I saw pictures online today of HEB putting out rainbow stuff, saying y'all means all. That's their thing now. So, all right, what y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do? You gonna no HEB?
What, in Texas?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go have sex with their watermelons. That's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna leave it there for someone to find. Yeah. That's the only way to protest.
Yeah. If it all goes that way, what do you do?
Yeah. Bird, you've had sex with more fruit than I have. Is the watermelon,
have.
Is that a good one? I don't know. You tell me.
I think if you go around and you fuck any fruit you can in that store, people won't go into it anymore. So if anybody's willing to go on the sex offender register,
just take one for the team.
Yeah, go for it.
Be careful with the star fruits.
You got a prickle in there. Yeah. And then you could spin it as I was trying to go with the woke thing and say it's okay to have sex with anything.
Next level.
This was performance art right here.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to make it easier to say all holes should be available.
Can I ask you a serious question? Although it's
Please.
not really that serious. You brought up a good point. Why aren't we out there fucking fruits in supermarkets?
I brought that up.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. Why are we not out there fucking fruits? They do the Pride Parade.
Right.
You get one video from a Pride Parade where there's some guy in a dog mask walking around and a kid smacking their ass. And that's what they get to do.
Right.
Why are we not out there fucking fruits?
Well, because maybe we just haven't organized yet to have fuck a fruit day.
I see there's a smile on your face, but I'm dead serious. If one of our guys went out there and fucked a fruit, they have to close the store down.
Right. Oh, and then it's available for us all to go in and fuck the fruits.
If we do it in enough stores, the company has to close the stores down.
All the stores.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
I get the point of trying to make fruit adding sugar and salt. But that's probably not where we need to go with this one.
But I'm serious. If we go out there, they were doing this thing where people were licking ice cream. They were licking ice cream, and they had to shut down the stores, or at least the freezer section and all the ice cream, because they were going out and
because people were licking it,
and they weren't even protesting anything. They were it was a TikTok thing,
right? To lick some ice cream and then put it back.
If we go out there and we fuck the most fruits we possibly can,
right,
they will have to shut the store down.
And then if we get all the fruits out of the stores, we might get them out of society.
There you go.
I think that we've come to the point where people aren't eating enough fruit. You have to pick something else, like the pre-made chickens. Yes. I think people really
and that's warm and moist. That's way better to have sex with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the one
you just got to avoid the bones.
The one we got today was greasy, right? It was. So, I mean,
Well, you go on the non-whole side where the chicken breast is. You cut a slice.
Protest movements.
protest movements.
All right. Well, I had more topics, so don't worry.
I have some ideas about that. I don't know.
What? I'll listen to your ideas for protests. What do you got for us? I mean, we're trying to. We thought we had gold here on our fruit fucking, but cantaloupes. What do you got? What should we be doing to protest?
Growing your own?
No, say the right thing. Bomb a building.
All right, crystal knock. Crystal knock.
Fuck a fruit.
All right, so
Not as satisfying.
the next topic was blowing up on Twitter last week, and I find this to be the funniest of all the conspiracy theories I've ever come across, and that's the idea that Michelle Obama has a penis.
Oh, that's back?
Oh, that's back.
Dude.
That's making a big time comeback. And
Love
then
that.
someone, I believe, doctored a video of her dancing with a white suit on Ellen DeGeneres.
Big old bulge.
Oh, you could see a bulge because it wasn't as easy to tuck your penis back then. You know what I
Nope.
mean? You couldn't just walk into a
No.
Target, go into the kids section, and find something
Yes.
to keep your hog tied to your legs. You know what I mean? It was old school. You had to duct tape. You had to, you know what I mean? Ingenuity. Ace Hardware. Well, I just think it's so great, like with Twitter under Elon Musk, that you could just grab clips like that and they'll circulate forever.
So
Michelle Obama will never get away from this. I mean, well, first is, have you researched whether or not Michelle Obama has a penis?
yes,
Do you have a take on
we've
this?
done extensive episodes.
Oh, please, because
Yeah.
I'm new to this
Yes.
one, and
I think TLE is the #1 Michelle Obama penis tracking podcast.
Yes, no doubt.
because I'm new to this rumor,
No
and of
doubt.
all the craziness I've ever come across online, this is my absolute favorite.
So, I mean, it's not just one video. There's an extensive
A library
of videos
of Michelle Obama.
of this person's. I mean, and it's bigger than anybody on stage. Probably most of the people in the audience.
Right, but that's just because we're all white.
It's huge. It's huge. And I'm not saying this to be funny. There's a basketball player. Yeah. Yeah. It's a. This isn't one video. Is what I
Okay.
mean to say. There's a history of. And this was before we started to see the commonly doctored video on Twitter.
Right.
These videos were going around.
But now she doesn't sound. She looks manly, but she doesn't sound like a lady. And they have kids that seemingly look like them. So is that lab shit? Do they have the technology? They grew the kids from their semen in a lab. They mixed it, spliced the Obama semens.
So we were talking about Michael Jackson last night.
Right.
Michael Jackson was a castrato.
Which means they took his balls.
Balls were off.
I thought they just chemically castrated him. They actually took him.
Balls were off.
They should get that in a museum.
So
If there was ever an Indiana Jones movie,
it's possible.
I don't know. I don't know what the Nazis would do with Michael Jackson's testicles, but something.
The Obama children
Yeah.
look like the two of them because they both have siblings. What they did
Right.
with the Jacksons was any girl that was attracted to Michael got moved over to, was it Bobby? Joe? The older brother. Older brother played the bass.
Oh, so Tito would fuck them on behalf
Yes.
of Michael, so it would seem like he had the Jackson genes.
It's the same stuff.
Even though Michael was walking around with no balls.
Yes. So what I'm saying is it can be totally possible that the
Right.
kids look like them.
Because they have a secret, like, Kenyan brother or something.
Well, they do. Well, he does.
Right.
Yes, he does. He
So-
does.
Right.
So I don't know. That's my theory.
I'm trying to put this all together.
Doesn't
in my
involve a
head.
lot of fruit fucking. I'm
Right.
sorry.
No, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
So, certifiably...
But Hawaii is in this, so the fruit is back on the table.
That's true.
So Michelle has a penis. Obama is, I guess, he's gay, but for like that gets a little bit weird. So what's Obama's thing?
Was a guy, Larry Sinclair, he offered in 2008 to take a lie detector test to prove that Obama had sucked his dick for cocaine.
Right.
Yeah, and that just disappeared.
I recently watched that video too and laughed at it. Yeah. I would love to see, because at this point, you know, the world's become more woke friendly. The Obama should come out of the closet and go, listen, I was in a worser America and now it's free. And I would love to see Obama teach classes on how to prepare for anal sex.
Getting his old pastor in on that one?
Yeah. Oh, what, the real preachy one? My wife's got a big one.
What's funny is back then I would listen to his pastor and I'd be like, man, this guy's, and now I'm like, this guy makes a lot of sense.
What was some of the, well, it was anti-Jew stuff, right?
A lot of anti-Semitic stuff, but also 9/11. You know,
it didn't. All right, I'm so much more open to that 9/11 was an inside job now than I was 10 years ago. It's not something I ever researched. There are like just certain topics that used to kind of float around and you go, all right, that one's just a little bit too crazy. I don't want to be the one running around saying like the world is flat. I don't want to research that the world is flat because I don't want to think the world is flat. I don't want to go that fucking far. I don't want to think like it's just I don't want to look back on everything. Yeah.
And it wouldn't change your life either.
No, it doesn't matter to me. So I don't want to sit down and research it and be one of these people who are obsessed with the world is flat.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Or if Antarctica's a cliff and
both Obamas have a dick. Who cares?
Yeah, well, no, that one I care about. That one,
fine. That's fine.
I might make that my signature issue.
Both Obamas have a dick.
Yeah, which one? Michelle's is clearly bigger, right?
No doubt.
Okay.
Well, because he's half white, she's all black.
Right.
And she is, you can tell the testosterone is high.
Well, the other thing I like about Michelle having the larger wiener in the family is we've seen Obama 1,000 times where he's like, oh, Michelle's the real man of that. Like, he said these things.
He says it with a smile, too.
Right. And I was always like, dude, you've made you were the president. I hate this sitcom version of your life as if your wife is actually running the family when you were the president and you made serious decisions, including wars and bombing people. Like, you're an adult. You're a dude. I might not agree with the decisions you've made, but you're not like some childish guy who can't make decisions and needs his wife to run his life. But maybe that's almost in Fight Club when he pieces it back together and he realizes that he was alone the whole time and he dropped the bottle.
Yep.
Maybe that's what the Obama thing was, all of the times that he was telling us that Michelle, all we know is like in that underground lab, like underneath the White House where they actually make decisions, she was the real president.
Yes, no doubt. There's no doubt.
If she has a dick, can we talk about the way that George W. Bush was acting with her at the inauguration for Trump?
Oh, what was going on?
Oh, they were all flirty and touchy-feely and leaning on each other.
Maybe he likes it up the ass, too. Michelle Obama's dick gets around. So, Pete, have you dug into 9/11 Inside Job?
Oh, you mean the original one? Yeah, what you're talking about?
No, I don't mean the movie. I mean just conceptually that not just that they were maybe didn't act on intelligence, but that either the buildings weren't even go down because of the planes and that it was totally orchestrated, seemingly because I guess they wanted to sell us on some wars.
Well, I mean, there were planes.
Right.
They only hit 3 buildings, the Pentagon, World Trade Center 1, World Trade Center 2. 3 buildings fell in New York.
Right.
The one that hit the Pentagon, where's the luggage? Let's forget about that.
That's not a plane.
I don't know what it is, but I have a tendency. To me, it always comes back to the dancing Israelis. What were those guys across the river celebrating and jumping up and down? One guy had $6,000 in cash in his socks.
Right.
When they were asked why were you there? They were like, oh, we were there to document the event.
Right.
Well, what about that? Why don't we talk about that?
Right.
The FBI file's out there, too.
Yeah, that's been making the rounds a little bit more now, the Israelis on the rooftop.
He had $6,000 in his shoes? Yeah. Is that ordinary?
For Jews? Do you want to check?
Do you have the Jew gold right here?
No, I got no Jew gold. Just in my grandfather's teeth.
Maybe they were celebrating recording the first podcast.
All right, next topic. All right, so aside from Michelle Obama's penis, the other thing that I've been paying more attention to is obviously we can all agree that the trans stuff coming to kids is just it has no basis in science, and I also look at it as a trying to extend consent to kids, and I do see that it plays into some sort of a creepy world of pedophilia, or I don't see any reason why this is being pushed other than some sort of a demonic, like, I don't understand who thinks this is a good idea and why they're trying to like impose this on society. And Twitter definitely exposes me to nonsense that I otherwise would never come across. But one of the storylines that I'm at least finding interesting is like the nature of, I guess, that the Satan god that is of neither gender, which is a storyline at least I picked up on Twitter. But you guys go more into the weeds on craziness, so I'm curious to know, like...
I'm looking for Jacob because we were talking about this last night.
Okay.
Are there any transgender people in the audience?
We were talking about dark principalities.
All right. Well, then, you know what? Let's rotate. Mr. Pete.
Come on, oh, look how happy he is.
Let's hear it from Mr. Pete.
Look
We're going to rotate
happy
in.
He is to be ready to... look at the smile on his face.
Mr. Jacob, who can... actually looks like the goat god, if I'm being honest.
All right. Well, I mean, I have been, and it's actually Pete and a lot of the guys that are on the Libertarian to Orthodox pipeline that have kind of been convincing me of... It's not you, but you and those guys, Buck and Matt Erickson and all them, is that like there is some... I used to think that it was kind of like just sort of leftist bullshit, but it's more like there's something else going on, and I kind of agree with you that this is sort of like they're trying to basically get it to where it's okay, like they can get kids to say, yeah, it's okay to butt fuck me, and then
they do the butt fucking.
Yeah, exactly. They're allowed to cut off our dicks. They're allowed to give us a pseudo dick, all that sort of stuff.
Just conceptually, it's child consent. So 2 years ago, child couldn't vote, child couldn't go to war, child couldn't get a tattoo, and they couldn't consent to sex. If you're saying that a 4-year-old can make a determination for their gender, you're saying that there's a concept of child consent. And if I had to pick between a 4-year-old, making a permanent gender decision versus a 16-year-old engaging in sex with a 25-year-old, conceptually, if you had to go, which of these two things is more evil? Well, a 16 and 25-year-old is not nearly as bad as a 3-year-old who's making a permanent lifestyle change that they're probably going to grow out of.
Well, Walter Block actually makes this point, which I think is he's done a lot of work on this, is that there is a point where there is a question, I guess, but you can clearly say that a 7-year-old can't consent. It gets a little bit more ambiguous when you're talking about 16 and 17-year-olds, but
the question is, what do their titties look like?
Right? Yeah.
That's a joke, everybody.
Yeah. But that's kind of one of the things where it's like everybody that's normal can agree that a 7-year-old cannot consent to some sort of sexual activity. And normal people can agree that a 7-year-old cannot consent to having their penis chopped off. But when it comes to like a 16-year-old, it does become a little bit more ambiguous. But what it seems like is that the sort of left spectrum of the political thinking is that it's trying to basically push this lower and lower. And part of this is lowering voting age to 16. That's part of it. And like just kind of getting this lower and lower and lower, so where you start considering that younger and younger people have
just
the ability
give the counter with all the mRNAs in these kids' blood. They might be living to 18. You know what I mean?
Well,
we might be going back to Middle Ages where you got to have a kid by 12 because you're out by 20.
Well, and that I mean, I get it. Like there's one of the things that I've seen is that like especially with young black girls is that they are hitting puberty much earlier, like 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's that shitty water.
It's not having fathers.
What?
Yeah.
That will make you
hit puberty
That's some like
earlier.
chicken brooding shit.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
Not having a dad.
Yeah.
Well, why?
I don't know. But not having a male, like a mature male in your home apparently makes women hit puberty earlier. So
is that like some bodily thing to have a man in the life? So it's like you're...
Yeah, it's wild. It's like I don't think it's super new actually. It's just kind of controversial, but it's they're kind of going like, yeah, this is like for earlier and earlier and earlier. These girls are getting pushed back. I think a lot of it has to do with milk. Like the milk is full of estrogen because they pump the cows full of milk to get them to produce more milk, and then that's got tons of estrogen in it, and then everybody drinks it.
Right.
And also, it corresponds to low testosterone in men.
Right.
So, like, men are drinking tons of milk, young girls are drinking tons of milk, and then the young girls are maturing much earlier than they did, 100 years ago.
How many of, like, our issues in society you think just boil down to the fact that they've poisoned our food supply?
Yeah, I think
honestly,
90,
if we got all of the shit out of food and people were clear-headed for a week, they would just be like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, they've poisoned the food supply,
right?
Water supply. Medicine is poison. It's all poison. Yeah, society's poison.
By the way, it's so funny when me and you complain about this because we're not healthy.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I'm sitting here going, I just have to eat these cheeseburgers. Yeah, no, it's all poison. But
all right.
It's psychological poison, too.
All right, let's rotate in our last guest for this live Run Your Mouth podcast. By the way, big round of applause for Jacob for putting this together every year. I feel like this is our best and most organized Childa yet, and I look forward to coming out here and doing drugs with you guys every year. All right.
All right.
Last guest, newcomer to the community. Let's welcome Jesse from the Jesse on Fire podcast. He's got a big MMA show. And all right, so the next topic I wanted to get into is Trump was they're talking once again about the documents that have been rounded up from his home. And I was thinking, if I was Trump and I got back into office, the first thing I would do is I go, all right, I'm making these documents public, and the documents would not be the documents that were taken. They would be documents that say, hey, the CIA put Bigfoot into Iran. It would be like, hey, this is when they showed, Hillary Clinton took this payment from the Saudis. Yes. It would be the dirtiest things that didn't exist. Yes. And I would put it out there as if that's what had been taken from me so that everyone thought that that was actual. That would be hard to disprove at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I would literally put out that Hillary, like the Michelle Obama's penis file of where the CIA built it, like an X-Men type origin story, you know what I mean? Like the lab that it was created in. So my question to you guys is, if Trump comes back, do you think he's going to go ham? Is he going to clean house? Is he going to release, like the WikiLeaks dude? Like, is he going to do all the shit that he didn't do the last time when he left office? Or do you think he's going to be a big pussy?
I'll respond to that in the form of a question, because this is the thing that I ask myself all the time is, do you think that he'll arrest George Soros and guys like that?
Well, Soros is dead. He just died. So,
is he dead for sure?
Well, maybe he's in a bunker. Also, he just declared dead, but I thought Soros just died. Am I right on that?
Somebody fact check.
He tweeted out, I'm not actually dead right after that. But I mean, fuck, dude, somebody could just have his Twitter.
I know what our ceremony can be about.
No, we're getting rid of the World Economic Forum guy tonight. Yeah. Because I think Soros is gone. Everyone, we will be doing a ceremony later this evening, and last year ours was fairly successful in that Fauci did step down. He hasn't apologized yet, but we were close.
We got him.
Yeah. That was our efforts, everybody.
We got him.
So you were thinking, what, he's going to arrest Soros?
I mean, I don't know. That's what I would do. Like all these guys that are putting all this dark money that's behind all this nefarious shit. What happens if they just turn our military on them and throw them in the fucking slammer?
You mean Soros?
Soros, Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, any of these fucking guys.
That would be a power move.
Yeah.
He would come off, though, I wonder. Well, he would have to arrest them and try and prosecute them. But my guess is if you actually turned our intelligence agencies on collecting information about how Bill Gates is evil, you probably could prove something in court. I would just guess if you actually turn the machine on these people. And, I mean, that's like old school politicking that you clear house. You know what I mean? You go after your enemies. That would be a real kind of old, I'm talking like go back to like king shit where you come in and you really get rid of your adversaries.
Putin or what's this fucking China, they'd arrest these motherfuckers in 2 seconds.
Well, of course, yeah, because they could get away with it. I wonder, though, if Trump, my guess is he can't, because they would just declare him to be a dictator. What's fascinating about what's going on in America with all the trans stuff is that we've ceded to Putin being able to go, they're demonic over there. It's almost incredible when you listen to, and I never listen to full speeches. I just kind of see the little clips, and you're like, oh, we gave him a really compelling talking point to say that he's on the, I'm not siding with Putin, but I'm just saying he comes off as the good guy when he's having conversations about
Maybe he's right on that.
Yes, that American culture has become demonic.
Maybe he's right on that.
Yeah. It's just quite like a major card that we just seeded for him to go play. All right, I think I had one more thing. Anything else on Trump coming back with a vengeance?
I just hope he does.
Yeah, I'd be curious. What do you think? You're more in on the conservative politics than I am.
They'll kill him first.
You don't think? Oh, you think if he wins the election, there's no chance that they let him?
They'll kill him first.
How do they take him out?
Well, they'll kill him first, and half the country will go, "Thank God they killed him."
Right. They won't even be upset about it. Yeah, that's one of the creepiest things that we've seen in our life is that. I mean, you saw it with Corona. Corona made no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And my own family was more than comfortable with the fact that I was discriminated against. And for me, whatever, I couldn't eat at a restaurant. But people lost their fucking jobs, their livelihoods. No one cared.
They'll kill him first, and DeSantis is the compromise.
You mean... Well, all right, let me ask you, because I know I was just down in Florida. Florida's great. And DeSantis... He's on the right side, at least in talking points, of central bank digital currencies, the COVID regime. There's some big talking points that he's on the right side of. I look at DeSantis, though, and to me, I don't know the specifics, but if he was working as the lawyer down on Gitmo, they can choose who their lawyer down at Gitmo is going to be. That means you're on board with the most evil of the war state. Like, that means that, that you have to be an enthusiast for evil CIA shit to get that job, want to be there, and do it well. There's no way that you get a person who's uncomfortable in that position, who's then going to his superior and going, we shouldn't be doing this, or this is evil. You want a guy who's fucking on board, enjoys it, and is willing to use his intellect to kind of defend it, which makes it seem to me he's on a different side of the deep state. But that guy's a war machine deep state guy.
He's been a great governor. Either he's done things that haven't impacted me at all.
Right.
Great for me. Or generally it's been things that have been okay. As far as being a president, I don't know.
Pete, you got anything on the DeSantis? Yes. Torturing them? Yeah, I don't think we need to torture those people. I think there's probably another way to... I think just making it illegal and arresting people for doing it and showcasing the money and the racket behind it. Yeah, I know. Yes, I believe that it's a matter of will to showcase the evil of things. I don't think we need to torture doctors who have engaged in, especially in the current landscape where they've done it legally. What? Yeah, yeah, but like if a conservative, no, I get it. But if a conservative said, hey, let's grab all the people from Planned Parenthood and go torture them because they were killing babies, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that either. Yeah, what do you got?
So I wanted to comment on the thing we were talking about with the boycott earlier as it relates to like whether we're actually making an impact.
Right.
Because I think that the reason why it feels like there's a complete and total shift where, oh, wow, looks like we actually have some power now is an incredibly simple straight line to Elon bought Twitter, where before, think about the Bud Light thing. You know, the old Twitter, people would post, a negative meme about Bud Light, banned. Someone would say, don't buy Bud Light, banned. They would suppress anything that looked like that. Instagram and Facebook were doing the same thing. Once Elon bought Twitter and he took the guardrails off, Instagram and Facebook are like, oh, the government's not going to do anything. And also we're going to lose all of our fucking users to Twitter if we don't do the same thing. And that's why now all of these things are trending and the actual numbers of who believes in what are becoming very evident. Where before it made it seem like everybody's on board with this shit. And really they were just stacking the deck. And so Elon, he changed everything. I think this is the beginning of the backlash and it's going to be consistent and it's going to change.
You had something on that?
I'm pessimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the culture's fucked.
I mean, there's nothing.
Well, I agree. The biggest play that they have is trying to convince you that if you're going against whatever they're saying, you're crazy, you're stupid, you're evil. That's what they did with COVID. They pretended like way more of the population was running out and getting the vaccines that they were, because that's their play, is to try and pretend like nobody agrees with you. Twitter makes that harder for them to do because, for example, I guess Tucker Carlson just lost his Fox News gig. But if he lands somewhere else and he's got the same amount of audience, he's making the same amount of money, who gives a shit?
Yeah, it might be better.
Yeah,
it might be better in that case.
It could. So it's like as long as they can't get full control of everything to the point that you're completely censored.
Okay, how many people realistically, percentage-wise, of Democrats, they assassinate Trump the day after he gets into office, do you think, that's cool?
Oh, I think you're right that sadly a lot of people
enough, right?
Yes.
How many people won the American Revolution? 5% of the country, they say. 3% of the country, they say. Is that do we have that for Trump assassination?
What you mean to?
So Democrats are half the country,
right?
So it would have to be what, 6% of Democrats? You think you can get 6% of Democrats who just straight up go, glad they did that, glad they shot him in the head?
Why? Because that's all they need.
Just asking.
Yes, I believe that more than 6% of Democrats would.
That's
be happy.
pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
That's
if I had to put a number on it,
yeah,
20%.
That's really high, dude.
Yeah. 20% are going, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then 30% have enough dignity to go, I never liked the guy, but that's not good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me tell you guys a story about Trump very recently.
And by the way, I meant 20 of the 50%.
Yes,
yeah, okay. Just
yeah.
if that.
So for UFC 287, we were in Miami, and I'm buddies with Mike McDaniel, the Miami Dolphins coach. We're staying with him for the weekend. We're cage side. Dana got us our seats. We were with all the NFL guys.
Fucking name drop city over here.
No. It makes sense. It makes sense. So on the way in, Mike is like, okay, because Trump was there, and they stopped us at the gate, and Trump's entire caravan went through. And Mike is like, okay, if Trump tries to come up to me, I can't get photographed with him. He's like, I can't get photographed with him. Like, it's not like he has any kind of issue,
right.
whatever. But so we're sitting with all the NFL guys who all are kind of on that wavelength. There's probably 20,000 people in this place. So Trump comes in, and this entire place went fucking bananas, dude. Like, I've never seen anyone get a response like Trump did in that place. It was amazing. Everyone was like, America, Trump. He was sitting with Tyson, Kid Rock, and Dana White, the most America shit ever. So, but I was paying attention to the NFL guys because they live in this world where Trump's the worst dude ever, and I was just looking at them to see kind of what they're and I watched them just kind of go, oh shit, we're on the wrong side of this thing.
Right.
It was like the moment for them, which was the exact way that the digital world has made us feel and it's just an incredibly powerful thing if people feel like they're on the wrong side of consensus. And I literally watched it with my own eyes where they're like, oh.
Right, because they live in a bubble where they think everyone hates him, and then all of a sudden you're in a room where he's being cheered and celebrated, and you're realizing, oh, they've lied to me.
Yes.
This guy actually is popular.
Exactly.
All right, so last topic I wanted to bring up is they're apparently actually negotiating on the debt ceiling, and I'm wondering if you actually sat in that room between McCarthy and Biden, what do those conversations actually sound like? Like, what do they actually talk about until they finally get to the deadline?
Did you bring any fruit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, let's close it on that line.
We will be getting rid of the man! The evil Fauci had come upon us! And we all felt that spirit! Needles in their arms! Gather here, Chile people! Because our ceremony was so very, very close! So close! And now that the Fauci man has stepped down, Klaus Schwab! You're next. But we got to do a ceremony here. So, where is he? We're going to crown the Childerberg king.
Whoa.
Just a light cost.
He's 100% in target.
He's gonna suck his dick!
I see you, Kang.
Here it goes. There it is. Look at that cow!
Yes, sir. Glass, limestone.